All right, so let's continue to move forward. We're working through the level 80 story here. We just successfully killed the Eye of Zhaitan, or in Eye of Zhaitan, because I think there are some suggestions within the story that there's more than one. That these are like a lieutenant level creature, but that there are there may be multiples of these, all of which serve the same purpose. So we just killed that thing, and now the intent of Traherne is, hey, we're gonna take this thing back to Fort Trinity and we're gonna study it. Now we got this eye by taking this enchanted mirror into, or to like serve as bait for the eye. And Tegwin and Karis, our Savari friends here, were like, hey, we're not sure this is a good idea. And then it didn't go the way we planned, and so they had every right to say, I told you so, but they didn't really say that because they're classy individuals. So now they've kind of expressed concerns about bringing the eye back here. So we didn't listen to them once, and they were right. Now we have chosen not to listen to them a second time. So let's see what happens here. I'm heavily foreshadowing, am I not?
A moment, please, Commander.
A moment, please. I will give you 2 of them, Traherne, because you and I are so close. What's up, buddy? No, don't yell at me. I'm literally right in front of you.
Remain strong.
I will do my best. A magnificent view. So, is it? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it's not really. I mean, there's a lot of fog. I don't know that there's much of a view, to be honest. But thank you, Traherne, for effervescently positive, or consistently positive at least.
These airships are the Pact's crowning achievement, a combination of Asura, Char, and human technology.
That was quick, right? Like, we decided to be a pact, and then bam, we build airships.
Zhaitan from every possible angle: land, sea, and now air.
So I do like the airships, and I'm pretty much like I'm pretty comfortable forgiving the airship thing in reference to, like, the fact that I carry like axes as my primary weapon. Largely because there's so many things that they do in the game that are like much more egregious in terms of like being like anachronous or kind of inconsistent with the technology of the world that we're playing in. So airships are really the least of my concerns in that regard. Professor Gore, an expert on magic. We learn this in the Asura personal story.
Commander, may I present Professor Gore, who pioneered the theory of elder dragons consuming magic, and Scholar Vivian, a top expert on the Risen. We're going to send a small etheric charge through the Eye of Zhaitan's corpse to try and project what it's seen. The goal is to witness what it saw right before we killed it. And since Orion magic is so unpredictable, you're here to keep things under control.
Ah, but unpredictability yields unexpected results. That's not always a bad thing. In fact, that's how most new discoveries are made.
True, but most new discoveries don't bring the wrath of Zhaitan down on their discoverers. Manipulating the dead eye may do precisely that.
We don't know what manipulating the dead eye will do. That's why we're not in Fort Trinity, and why the commander's with us. Let's begin.
Okay, so we boarded the airship at Fort Trinity, but where are we now? We sailed this. It was this airship which actually appears on the map. It is now out here, and that way, if something like, if Zhaitan genuinely like nukes us, we're out here where we're the only ones who suffer.
All readings are within acceptable parameters. Subject is stable. It's working.
Confirmed. The projector beam is now ready for firing. Commander, if you'll do the honors.
Wait a minute. So Tegwin and Karis were already opposed to this. Scholar Vivian also expressed concerns, but now they want me to throw the trigger. Why doesn't Traherne come? Hey, you come over here and throw the trigger. I'm here if you need me, Commander. Where's my option? Yes, I do. Go push the button your damn self. Not an option, apparently.
The apparatus is functioning. How will we know when we have usable results?
Should see
So presumably this is like some kind of lens that this is projecting through? Not sure.
There's our result.
It's working. We're seeing the last sights the eye saw before it died. Soldiers? Where are they marching to, and why?
Is that some kind of undead servant? What's it carrying? Looks like a scout of some kind. Filthy looking creature.
Professor Gore. Quite likable. Asura are often quite likable.
Did you see that? Zhaitan's agent just consumed a powerful magical artifact.
I saw it, Professor. Your theory is now a confirmed fact. But what was that creature?
Let's finish testing before we interpret our results.
Marshal Traherne! Look there, another eye. What does it mean?
I'm not sure. Commander, to the front. Something's not right.
Well, didn't we anticipate something not being like? And did we not have many knowledgeable people like predict this something would be not right? All right.
By all six gods.
Unfortunately, it was just some worms. We handled it well.
It looked at us, through us, and Zhaitan must see what it sees.
We're not done yet, nor are we out of danger. Commander, to me. Remain strong.
It will send more of its minions. How are they getting here? We don't know. We don't know how they're getting here. So, you know what? Honestly, kudos to ArenaNet for not trying to explain that. There is such a thing as, over-explaining. I make a lot of jokes about, oh, how did this happen? It's just a weird, weird world. But truthfully, there is such a thing as, over-explaining. And this would have been, you could really go down a rabbit hole here with Traherne trying to explain how these Orients are just popping up. Instead, we're just going to make them visible so that we can deal with it.
That hides Zhaitan's minions. Stand ready. There's no way to know how many we'll face, but we cannot risk taking any along with us.
What if it had been 200? What if we just completely wiped out here on this airship? What would they do with the airship? It'd just be floating around over, what is this, Terzetta Bay or whatever? Is that a place in Florida? I think it might be.
Look out! There are more of those things.
Yeah, we're just floating around. Well, somewhere between Terzetta Bay and the Strait of Malediction, which I assume is not a place in Florida. I don't know. I didn't live in Florida for that long, only for a few years. Regardless, what would they do with this ship?
Feel the fury.
Maybe they would have those cool char that we were hanging out with, shoot it down. I think that would be the right answer, right? Shoot the thing down.
Stand fast.
Still not through. Outrageous. There were a lot of them in here. Alright, we almost got him. Cool.
I sense no more of the Risen. I think we're clear. Our findings deserve serious scrutiny, but I'd like to hear your initial reactions.
I think we now have conclusive proof that the dragon sees through these eyes. The readings, the ebb and flow of magical energy, it all fits.
If these eyes are how Zhaitan sees, maybe that all-mouth creature is how Zhaitan eats.
I concur. Zhaitan's agents serve as extensions of its body, acting on its will. The eyes survey, the mouth consumes.
That answers many questions raised by my theory, actually. Now we know how the dragon hunts and eats. That's progress.
We can't let up. If killing the eye partially blinded Zhaitan, then killing the mouth should deprive it of sustenance. Pack scouts have traced one of the mouths to its lair. I want you to head out there and ensure that Zhaitan starts going hungry.
All right. So we get a choice here. That seemed like a fairly direct order, but we actually have some options. There's an Orient Manor that's receiving shipments of powerful magical items on a regular basis. It's called Kaita Manse. I assume that's how you say it. Is it Mance or Manse? Who knows? Is that the only target? 2 ways to attack it. Strike the mouth at its lair, or prevent the food from being delivered. Either way, Zhaitan misses a meal. So I almost always choose cut off the mouth's food supply because it actually it feels faster. I don't know if it actually is, but it definitely feels faster. Is one method riskier? Stopping the food supply is safer but less certain. Attacking it directly is more dangerous but more certain, assuming it can be defeated. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to attack it directly. But there's reasons for that extend beyond like the gameplay, because I don't necessarily enjoy the gameplay of this instance, or it feels a little bit laborious in its own way. But compared to like some things that will happen in Living World and stuff, it's not like that's not terribly egregious. So we'll do it because there's some stuff we want to look at. We actually have a bit of it. In fact, don't we? Yeah, so we actually have to go to Malcor's Leap. So we kind of need to navigate. Let's see. You know what? Let's head there. Yay, go Sky Skill. We don't have that mastery yet. I forget that. Sometimes I forget I have Sky Skill on this count. Other times I forget that I don't already have it like completely maxed out. So we're kind of here to grab a waypoint is what we're doing. And from here, Roller Beetle would actually be like real fast from this point, but we don't have one of those. There are like isolated cases when I do use Roller Beetle on the accounts that I have, but like it probably represents like less than 2% of like my overall mount use, honestly. Okay, so we are now deep in ore, right? This is the second of the 3 Orient maps at launch, and then if you were to use the temples of the various gods as kind of a measurement for ore, we've already left the map that had 2 of the 6 temples, right? Because we visited the Temple of Abaddon, which is like over here. It's sunken. It's no longer, like, presumably it was abandoned even before ore was sunk. Balthazar is right here. That's what this large thing right here is, the Temple of Balthazar. Then Lissa, it's like right here. And Duena is like over here. And then Cursed Shore has the remaining 2. Grenth and... who am I forgetting? Melandra? Yep, think so. Okay, enough about that.
Let's just storm the place, kill everyone we find.
Oh, good, it's Galena and Snarl.
Nice plan.
There's Zri hiding.
But the pact conducts itself with more style than your frothy brain can handle.
Keep it down, you loud.
Haha, scared him when she popped out.
To a minimum.
Whoa, now that's sneaky. After we beat Zhaitan, how about you come train with the Ash Legion?
Jealous Snarl. That's what comes from being second rate.
Pipe down. We've got rough work ahead of us. Scout detail, form up.
Alright, what's up, Hector? This motley crew. Are you the leader of this motley crew?
Ready to move on your orders, Commander. We've confirmed large numbers of artifacts in transit to this location. The Priory's readings for the Manse are off the scale. If the Mouth eats powerful magic, this place is a Winter's Day feast.
All right. I want you to lead a scouting party into the Manse. Reconnaissance only. We need more information before we move in.
Understood. We'll be in and out before they even know we're there.
Apparently it's Mance. Kaita Mance. Alright, well, good luck. There goes Hekia and 3 Priory Explorers. No Order of Whispers? Does anyone feel like Order of Whispers would have been the right choice?
Bored yet, Snarl? I'm bored. We sit here while that bossy Norn has all the fun.
I know, right? I also felt like she was a little
Tango
bossy.
says I can take down that ugly chicken
Not
in
really.
one shot.
Take it down. Is it?
Just don't get
Is it that chicken?
Steve. But since you asked, 10 gold says you can't.
Man. High rollers, like... no.
Most resilient chicken ever.
Well, guess who's getting 10 gold?
Coming right at us.
Snarl. Snarl's getting 10 gold. Good call, Snarl.
Feel the fury.
Slaughter, mayhem, and a mountain of corpses. That's how we do it.
For once we agree. Keep 'em coming, Zhaitan. We got plenty of blades left.
I can't decide if you two are inspiring or terrifying.
I'm with you, Zri. I find them to be both simultaneously.
For you. But now it's official. That Norn's been gone for too long.
Right. Listen up, everyone. Our scouting expert here says we've waited long enough. Operation Sit on Our Furry Behinds is over. We're going in. Form up on the commander.
Whoa.
Good. I love this part.
Wait a minute.
Stealth is fun, but stealth kills are sublime.
Wait, who... Do I get any input on this? Do I get to decide whether or not it's been long? Look, they're just going to go ahead and go. I feel like I'm not the one in command here. Oh, now I am. Now that we've got to the door, I'm the one to go first.
Welcome, one and all, to my humble men. Come in. Please forgive my meager accommodations.
What is this?
But fear not.
What's that?
My servants will attend to your every need. A toast to you, honored guests. Eat, drink, and join me in my salon for lively conversation.
Okay, so that's Lord Kaiser. So this is his place, right?
Before things get any weirder.
Things are pretty weird. I'm with Snarl on this. Pretty weird. But we need to find our lost reconnaissance team, right? A servant up here. Wait, look, I can talk to the servant. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Who is this guy? A devoted servant of Lissa. Okay, so remember now, Lissa is the god that includes like illusions and mesmers and stuff within her domain, right? It is said that the goddess herself once visited the Manse. Well, how would we know that? What else can you tell me? Yes, instructed to, yeah, we got it. Okay. Weird. Now, this should already be, like, really super disturbing, because after all, like, we're out in the middle order, right? Like, so none of this is, like, okay. Oh, same thing. Alright, cool. What about you? Same thing. Door is sealed tight and won't budge.
Zhaitan speaks, the world trembles.
Oop.
Under attack. Ears up. Something's hunting us.
Okay, so that was the Mouth of Zhaitan saying that, right?
But I thought this servant.
Oh, now the servants are out to get me.
Some real damage.
And they were so sociable and attractive, and look what happened. Disaster. That's why you don't trust attractive women. Because they're zombies. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Alright.
Come on, move forward. Smash that door down if you have to.
Yes, we need to find the crew. Smash the door down. Or just open
So
it.
I said,
Either way.
some light conversation? Why do you need such heavy armor?
Alright, so take a look.
Look, it's your friends.
Explorer Hekia.
You simply must introduce us to your companions. I do hope my servants were accommodated.
This gesture is really like putting in work.
The lower orders in mind. Hector, my dear.
It actually makes me deeply uncomfortable.
While I attend to the kitchen staff.
Hector prisoner. You know that he didn't the war. Let's get him.
What? Oh no!
Everything is prey for the dragon. Surrender.
Snap out of it, Hector. We're on your side.
And there she goes. But not before schwacking 3 of our people. Well, that's not good.
Never mind. Kill these fancy pants on dead. Find her later.
Are there any left? Hey, I want that. Boom. Thank you. Alright, so I got rid of that batch.
Time to do some real damage.
But Hekia is got down, and also like the other 2 like Priory members. Like where are they? We have no idea.
She's lost to us. We need to focus on finding the mouth. Find the door and we can go.
So that may be true, right? And that's the concern, that Hekia is like not herself anymore. He or she is.
All proven to be quite the entertaining diversion.
Now, let us entertain you.
What? That's just a weird thing to say, honestly. So Explorer Hekia is now like missing much of her face and kind of the worse for wear. Everything else is the same, but that's not so good. Looking a lot like Lord Kaido over here, actually. They kind of have a lot in common in terms of their appearance. Jester, not a fan. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Like, you're annoying. Where did she go? There she is, behind us. All right. So, you know, just a couple instances ago, I was talking about how the process of becoming Risen is kind of unclear. So this is kind of why I say it, because yes, there is an instance where very much we see like a place where essentially like Risen are produced in the Temple of, I think it's the Temple of Lissa, actually. But that's not what happened with Hekia. Like, she was turned Risen quite fast.
They'll pay for kicking her.
She deserved better than this. Hector was a pill, but she was our pill. Let's tear this place down.
All right, we still got a problem, right?
I am waiting below. Face
And that problem is that the mouth is still in here. That was the original mission. Kill the mouth. And oh, here it is. Along with dude who has a snack for the
I
mouth.
sustain Zhaitan, and Zhaitan makes me strong. Another meal for my master.
Okay, so these like dudes, these Orion spectral guards that are like circling around the mouth, like when you hit them a certain number of times, then they will stop circling, then they will come for you. So that's kind of like how you go about the process of removing them from the equation. Hang out behind the pillar here, then the attacks, that one right there, that attack, will not ultimately like be able to hit you when it targets you, because it'll hit the pillar instead.
Nothing before Zhaitan's might.
I'll
Okay, so you see he ran out of the weapons around him, and thus... Oh, my pet. And thus generated new ones, right? So as our NPC buddies, like, fall, we increasingly will get targeted by some of these skills and stuff. The rocks are here to facilitate, like, break bar stuff. Although the rocks were here, as I recall, like, before the break bars were even introduced. But just the same, they serve that functionality now. Alright, there we go.
What a pity. I've always wanted to punch a dragon in the mouth.
Now your dream has come. Wait, did you feel that?
Did I feel that? Did you feel that? You just had like
This
7
whole
rocks
place
fall
is
on you.
coming down. Run, or we'll be celebrating in the mists.
Oh no. We don't want to celebrate in the mist. We want to celebrate somewhere that is not the mist. Gotta remember my way out of here. Alright, we made it. Yay. Go team. Oh, the door won't budge. Huh. Door won't budge. Door won't budge.
Door's still shut tight. Come on,
Yeah.
Three. It's demolition time.
Oh,
Be
okay.
asking sooner. By the time I set the charges, it'll be too late.
Oh no, we're
All
totally
everyone
screwed.
needs is a dose of my shoulder.
What? Alright, so, objectively, we now know that the force of Galena Edgecrusher's shoulder exceeds the force of Commander Footkey. Oh man, building just collapsed. Look at that. Got out of there in the nick of time.
Oh, that was no earthquake. That was Zhaitan's roar. Ha! We made a dragon mad enough to throw a tantrum. Must be hungry, the poor little lizard.
Good. Now he knows we mean business. Nice work on that door, by the way. Who knew your hard head doubled as a battering ram?
Careful, Snarl. You keep up with the compliments and our commanding officers will assign us to permanent duty together.
Enough chatter. We suffered too many losses today. I should have sent a larger scouting party.
I disagree, Commander. You made the right call. You could have sent in all your scouts, and that Mesmer dandy would have taken them all. Come on, Marshal Traherne's waiting back at Fort Trinity. The mission was a success. Let's go tell him so.
Well, sure. Let's go tell him so. Let's go tell Marshal Traherne about the Mesmer Dandy. So, man, Galena and what's-his-face still going at it. That's, those two, man. They need to just get a room, honestly. Get it out of their systems, you know? Alright. Let's look at Traherne, see what he has to say about all this.
Welcome back. I'm glad you're safe. Let's begin the briefing.
I mean, I'm also glad I'm safe. Not everyone is, though.
What's on your mind?
We concerned about that?
Welcome, friends and allies. We've just defeated a powerful Mouth of Zhaitan, effectively cutting off one of the dragon's major supply lines. Now, we have to press our advantage. Reducing Zhaitan's food supply was a good start. It's time to stem the flow of reinforcements.
Reinforcements? You mean...
He means dead bodies. Zhaitan's minions on the mainland are gathering and shipping corpses to Ore in massive numbers.
Precisely. Our next move is to confront Zhaitan in Ore. Before we strike, we need to weaken its position as much as possible.
A sound strategy. Starve the enemy and cripple its army before we invade. You learn fast, Marshal.
I have to, General. Now, the Commander and I need to confer and choose the best course of action.
Alright, well, let's confer then. Sorry about Hekia, but I must agree with Agent Zri. Zhaitan is using mesmerism heavily. It's pulling out all the stops to crush the pact before we crush it. So this does kind of, there's actually like an interesting thing here. Mesmers were a class in the first Guild Wars. They're a class in the second Guild Wars. I think ArenaNet really likes Mesmers for a number of reasons. And I think one of the most significant reasons, particularly the Guild Wars 2 version of Mesmers, is because they're so unique. It really are a super cool class that you just don't see a lot of like what they do in other games. So I really like, I understand where the studio's coming from on that, because I really like the way they manifest in this game, right? Having said that, there's a lot in the core story. There is a lot of suggestion that Mesmers, and even past the core story, really throughout the story in general, that Mesmers are less common than the other classes. Whereas a warrior can be a warrior by virtue of, War Master Ephod here chose to be a warrior. The Mesmers are a bit different in that regard. That maybe it's not a matter of choice. Maybe it's a dare I say, like, genetic thing, or but there's something else going on there with Mesmers, that they're much rarer than Guardians or Warriors or Thieves or whatever. Now, Guild Wars does not go down the road necessarily of like really building up a lot of lore around the classes the way like some other games might. So we don't get a whole lot of explanation to why that is. But just the same, it does seem to be the case. And then also the game really pushes the idea that, like, in many cases, Mesmers are not trusted and are actually viewed differently. And I don't want to say they're viewed as, like, lesser, because I don't think they are. I think they're just viewed with a degree of distrust because they can deceive the average person. And so it's an interesting thing, the way Mesmers are kind of treated in the story and in the game in general, when the Mesmers are not the player character. And presumably, as far as I know, even if the player character was Mesmer, like this, what Traherne is saying here, it wouldn't be any different. Sometimes they do stuff like that, but it's not very common. And in this case, I'm not aware of any change in this dialogue just because we're Mesmers. All right, it's pulling out all the stops to crush the pact. It's right to be scared. We're gonna bury it. Quite. That's the kind of aggressive response we need. Let's do it. So we gotta hit the supply lines, right? Is what we need to do, which is like very sound. That's like army or warfare 101, right? Disrupt the enemy's logistics. In this case, because we're dealing with a dragon that uses undead minions, that means literally obstructing the flow of, because food is no longer relevant for it, right? To some degree, even like weapons production, probably not relevant for it, because there are Risen that just attack us by running up and like exploding and stuff. So it is the corpses themselves that are the primary source of supply for Zhaitan. So I don't enjoy the ossuary. I like, because this is incredibly short. Sinking the Ark, super short. Ossuary, not short. Just the same, we're going to do ossuary. And the reason is because it gives us more opportunity to kind of take a look at the idea of, we saw where Risen was generated like almost spontaneously in the case of Hekia. Now we're going to see where it's done on like almost like an industrial scale, right? For video purposes, we're going to get to that in the next video. However, for streaming purposes, we'll get to it here in just a minute. We're going to wrap this video here. We've examine the eye, and then in turn had to kind of fight the minions around that, but we learned some things from it, and we learned the importance of attacking the mouth. We have now destroyed the mouth, but we need to address the logistical capabilities of Zhaitan, and that's where we're headed next. So we'll pick that up in the next video.